Big new developments in the case against local rapper Brandon Duncan, also known as Tiny Do. Just 2 hours ago, a judge dismissed all charges against Duncan and another man, Aaron Harvey. They faced gang conspiracy charges under a law that makes it illegal for known gang members to profit from gang crimes. Minutes after he was freed from jail, Duncan talked about writing a song about his experience.
I've already had. That's going down right now.
Can you give us a sample of that?
No, I can't do that. I ain't gonna do that.
Everybody hard, everybody tough, everybody can fight, everybody can shoot. So when you get to understanding that, like, you be like, man,
The originators of the Syndicate Mob, the Sendo Mob.
say 182.5 is $1 million bill. As I'm getting in the car, I start seeing the gang undercovers around, they jumped out.
I know you didn't steal the car. I saw you get out the back. You tell me you took it, I'll let you go. I'm like, take me to jail.
YA might be the wildest place out of all the jail entities.
They been police officers coming in testifying on us, and they would wear a green rag in their handkerchief or a Lincoln High School lanyard and wink at us. Either you a sociopath or you really didn't do this. And my father is like, if he don't tell you who stole the car, take him to jail.
Real nigga, die real nigga. Yeah, I squeeze triggers, big blood, banging in the club while I'm popping bub. Gang signs, checking gang signs, I'ma bang mine.
All right, without further ado, it's your boy C Pizzle. Got my bros online with me today. You know what I'm saying? Got Mr. Daryl Charles to the right of me, and I got my dog Aaron Harvey on the left of me. It's Memoirs of a Gangsta. You know, I wanted to get them on the show with me because I wanted to shed light on the situation. We ain't never gonna let it die. Back in, what was it, 2015, they ended up in an indictment, you feel me? And it honestly hit the news. It pretty much went worldwide with it. And I wanted to get a first person's perspective from, you know, two people that was on there. You know, I reached out to Tiny Do as well. He want to jump on. He just had a session today, so he was coming out, hopping with me tomorrow, so we can, you know, add into that. But definitely wanted to, you know, get the perspective from y'all's view of what had happened. But I definitely want to touch into y'all's stories, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us got similar stories, especially coming from where we come from. If you think about the Southeast, right? The Southeast section of San Diego, it's only so big, right? Like, Skyline Drive turns into Valencia Parkway. Skyline got to play VP. You know what I'm saying? So everybody that, you know, ended up growing up and having what they call beef or whatever, used to be cool in elementary schools, middle schools, you know, played against each other. And then, you know, Skyline VP has in Balboa, like, you know, some of the most iconic, like, Pop Warner systems, they really are so intertwined, you know what I'm saying, with the rivalries. And it's just funny how then you grow up, then you get past it. If you live to make it through it, what are we doing now? And then everybody turns into good buddies, you know what I'm saying? And even from that to the system and finding out that, you know, the streets is a lie, the streets is a myth, and it really ain't on shit. So definitely wanted to give y'all flowers, you know what I'm saying, with what y'all doing today and how y'all are giving back to the community. I'm all for it. I'm all about it. I'm definitely proud to see the growth and the progress and the growth that you guys. I done made it one word, progress and growth that you guys got going on, man. And definitely want to give y'all a chance to, you know, kind of tell y'all stories from early beginnings. You know, like how did it even transition? How did we get involved? How did we get, you know, to where we were at to get to where we went? Whoever want to go first.
Shit, you know, and like every other story, you know, growing up, in the neighborhood, you know, that's really where it started. For you know, all of us, you know, we kind of homegrown for, you know, the streets that we displayed. So, you know, growing up in it, idolizing it, you know, it's something that you just that's just put in your face from the time you was born, man. I'm just meaning. You don't know nothing else because that's all you see. That's all you ever known. So, you know, you know, you come up going to school, playing sports with the same dudes. So the same dudes that you would have gang banging with, same dudes that you grew up with from kindergarten to Little League to Pop Warner, and y'all just grow into that together. Now you might have one or two that branch off and go do the right thing, but for the most part, in the cities, man, y'all just grow into the bullshit, and it just evolves from, growing up together. So that was our story, coming up together. We all play sports together. We all got on bullshit together, and that's really how it happened. That's really the start and end of it.
I seen that picture of you when you was like 5'6", throwing up an L. I was like,
yeah. I had a picture. I was 4 years old, 3 years old or something. I didn't even know what it was, but I was just, that was in my face. That was all I knew, man. 3 years old, sunglasses on, shades on, man, crazy.
What about you, BS?
Yeah, like it's the same thing, kind of like what we was talking about. Is my uncle is like, my family moved into the community of Lincoln Park, I think in like 1949 or something like that. You know what I mean? We were one of like the original families to move into that area. And then, my uncle was a part of the founders of the gang that was eventually called Lincoln Park or whatnot. And then we was talking about the picture, 3-4 years old, there was never a time where I felt like we called ourselves gang members, right? I think that was like a title that was eventually given to us by like the police or like other people. But who else was I supposed to go hang out with, right? Like, we grew up around the corner. For me, like, my uncle and his uncle grew up together. You know what I mean? Like, his dad and my uncle, like, everyone knows each other. So who else are you supposed to play with? Right? Who else so through the good times, it's just kids just growing up together, because this is where you at. Through a struggle, a rough time, if something happens to Daryl, it happens to me. You know what I mean? If something happens to me, it happens to him. We're a unit because of proximity, right? All the titles came from, I think, outsiders, but it's just my friend. You know? So whatever that grew into is just kind of what it grew into. But it was always really just about, in my opinion, I'll just speak it from my perspective, I was always loyal to the people that I was just around. You know what I mean? Who I played with, who we grew up with, things like that. I think my situation might be a little different from most people's perspective is because, my parents been against, I think they was like kids. You know what I mean? So a lot of people feel, or a lot of folks' stories is dad wasn't around or mom wasn't around or whatever the case may be. I just went outside. You know what I mean?
But it's funny because I got the same story.
We got the same. Me and your story is almost kind of similar.
Yeah, it's the same story. Yeah.
Your pop.
I mean, but it's funny because out of our group, out of the 20 of us, it might have been 3 or 4 of us had dads. You know what I mean? So we was just the lucky 3% out of everybody. So
your dad had the chicken shack on the corner of 4 quarters in Death, which is like a pillar of the Southeast community. I mean, you got to think about it. Before I even cared anything about gangbanging, it was Huffman's over there. You know what I'm saying? You had the chicken shack right there. You had the CD store, and the taco shop right there. And it's like, I always grew up more in the East, but I lived on Santa Margarita Street. So I always had, knowledge of, over there, but I don't know for me if it was just I have big brothers, I got aunties and uncles and shit, from the set, right? If you're going to be a part of this is what you got to be a part of. T80s was my early influence in elementary, middle school. I think I seen him whoop the homie. It's still my nigga to this day. But I don't know why he thought he was so tough. At a Livergrove Street Fair, I'm not gonna say his name, but Livergrove Street Fair, I don't know. He was kind of big dude a little bit, and a couple of homies that got into it, and he was just like, I guess like when the fireworks go off, niggas are supposed to get down. So, he's sitting in the chair by himself, like big tough nigga and stuff like that, right? And when the lights went off, and the other niggas, I guess, was scared of him, and yeah, he's rushed him. It was like, east, like, stuff like that, right? And I was just like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? And like, I guess we young, and ain't nobody telling you that bad is wrong. Like, everybody know bad is wrong, but you think bad is cool. And then, like, somebody got clout, got ladies, you know what I'm saying? Like, got a reputation, niggas is scared of you. Niggas ain't thinking about, nobody's telling you that a real reputation is somebody who, like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, all these dudes, they got real reputations. Right. Your favorite football players and whatever, they becoming legends. Like, you think about being a legend in your circumference versus like what a real legend is and what they do. So I think that was part of like my early influence. But like I said, y'all, I mean, growing up over there in the dip, your dad got a restaurant on Four Corners, between your moms and your pops, like being a part of it, I could only imagine what was coming. But I mean, transitioning like from sports, like even in sports, right? Both of y'all play for VP or?
Yeah.
So both of y'all play for VP. So it's kind of like, I be trying to explain to people, they be like, how does this happen? And I be like, me, if you from Skyline, the rec center is right there. So if you getting a free lunch from there, whatever, if you play for Skyline basketball, Skyline Pop Warner, you're gonna be up there. Now my mom had me play for Los Toros, but my cousin Graham, then they play for Skyline. I went to Freeze. We walking home from Freeze past Moonlight Market, especially when the murder happened for Buddy that got killed at Moonlight Market. And, just walking home, like you're always over there. I remember seeing Rashawn Salam being up there at the park, giving out free money and buying ice cream and candy for little kids. So it's like, this is just what you automatically seen. But as far as for y'all, like, and y'all being heavier in the sports, because I remember you was going to Helix. We was going to Helix at one point, Daryl, and then we ended up going back to Lincoln and playing over there, and Struck, you too. I mean, as far as y'all being on some sports shit, do you think that it hindered y'all athletic careers?
Oh yeah, by far. I mean, it helped because it was crazy. So us being at Helix, we was the best program in the city back then. So, but as I'm playing football, I'm still sidetracked. By the bullshit, thinking that shit cooler than what I was supposed to be focused on. It's crazy. I tell people like, damn, I thought being like these dudes was cooler than being like Barry Sanders or being like Emmitt Smith, and that shit sidetracked me a lot. And crazy. So that was what led me leaving Helix. I was going through bullshit at Helix. So eventually, I was like, shit. I had to transfer. I was getting too much bullshit, so I had to transfer. Left there, went to Lincoln for a few months, and then ultimately, senior year, I played at Mission Bay. So me and him went to Mission Bay that last year. So but yeah, to get back to where you asked, yeah, this shit sidetracked you a lot. It took me off focus. You started thinking that shit cooler than that, and start going that way.
Yeah. What about you? Scholarships?
I think my first introduction to like a separation amongst neighborhoods was because of sports, right? So my uncle, I'm born and raised, grew up on Logan, right? So a lot of the older dudes, that's where they hung out at, right? So along with my uncle, the low riders, yada, yada, yada. But it was G's that was from everywhere, right? It was Bloods, Crips, Power Rules, before I could even understand what that was, right? The older dudes was hanging out there. I ended up going to Bell Junior High, right? And I remember playing a game at Martin Luther King Park. Remember they used to call it the Ghetto Bowl?
Right.
And played a game. I'm playing for VP. Of course, we're playing Skyline at Martin Luther King Park. And they was throwing trash cans on the field, or it was a fight at the field, right? But then I go to Bell, 7th grade year, And you remember on Fridays you would wear your jerseys.
Right.
Before the game. So I'm in my VP jersey. I'm not, I'm not even really at 7th grade. I ain't really understanding the issues between neighborhoods, right? I ended up getting in a fight that day with some older cats who went to Morris, right? I'm getting on the bus, and these two dudes, came across me. And, it's Skyline Park, and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, for sure. How you doing?" Like I'm I'm so young, I ain't even really understand it. Where you from? Oh, I'm from Lincoln, right? Because I was taught that. Somebody asked where you from, you tell them where you from. Well, I'm from Lincoln. Oh, how you doing? I'm goofy, right? We ended up getting into it. I ended up jumping, and whatever, get on the bus. I don't even think I got on the bus, or however that situation happened. I remember talking to my uncle and my father. And that's when they kind of broke it down to me. Oh no, like it's a separation and a divide amongst neighborhoods. But I'm like, but such and such, he from Skyline, he can't, but he older, right? So now through athletics, now you know it. Like, oh, okay.
Did you continue going to Bell?
Nah. Well, I did, but then, I ended up getting kicked out of Bell. I ended up getting expelled for fighting, right? You can't come here. You can't go here. That's what I was told. You know what I mean? You can't go here. And I understand now, right? But at the time, me and my brothers, we wasn't really understanding that. So it was a lot. It was fights. I ended up getting expelled out of Bell. I ended up in juvenile hall, right? Going to Campo, Barrett, eventually ended up in YA. Right, but through athletics, knowing that it's certain places where we can play, or if you're gonna play there, no, but then just kind of like a separation, not a separation, but just like an understanding of like I wanted to play ball, but then I also, I want the big. I was attracted by the themes that the folks had who didn't play ball, right? Like the chains, the cars, you know what I mean? Just the hanging, the clout, right? The notoriety, all of that. So I played ball because I liked it, but it's also another pull. You know what I mean? Like it's a few older dudes that you wanted to be like. Like I can't touch Michael Jordan. I can't touch Allen Iverson. I don't see them. I only see them on TV. But I do see the dude that, can hit the 3-wheel motion on the corner. You know what I mean? Or got the big go rope chain or whatever the case. Or, when he come around, everybody knows his name, right? So it's that push and pull, really.
So early influences for you, who would you say?
The earliest influence for me?
Who's the older homie that you say was probably, the most influential from around your way?
My uncle. It'd be my mom's brother. He was a part of kind of like the originators of the syndicate mob, the Sendo mob. And they just had money that was fly. They had money that was fly, the cars. And then I just remember riding around with and then, my uncle used to give me all his 1s and 5s, right? He'd be counting his money, he'd give me all his 1s and 5s, right? How he was getting his money it's a story for him to tell, but like, he'd give me all his 1s and 5s. So like, why wouldn't you want to be like this person? Now, my father, who's been in my life, I grew up in the house with my father. I don't know nothing but my father, he worked for the city. He's a minister. My father's a minister. You know what I mean? He worked for the city. He drive a minivan. That's boring. That's lame. Like, now I get it, right? I want to be just like him, right? But at that point in time, to a kid, you don't know about it, you square.
I mean, well, it took us a long time for that to be cool. Like a long time, like in our 30s for that. So it wasn't like even in our 20s, like we still was like that's out. But also we grew up in an era too. We didn't have the social medias to see the world, what was going on in the world. So all we knew was what was right in front of us. So I couldn't see what was going on in New York, you know, and like it's crazy. Even like social media now, like the rappers, you can see rappers live in detail and people's lives in detail. Like back then, you know, you might have a magazine, you might that's close to you gonna see what's going on outside your world, but the immediate dudes with the brand new Mercedes and lowriders and good looking women and the girls you want to have, they was all doing that. So that was what attracted me. It's a funny story. Even like CP, like being at Helix, man, with Reggie. Reggie, one of my good friends. I was a kid, 5, 6 years old, and he was so focused, tunnel vision on football our whole life, and he didn't care about none of the bullshit, man. And he was fortunate enough to have that, but a lot of us didn't have that. He was just he had it, man, and I wish I could have locked in with him. I remember one day we went to school early, and I'm like, damn, where the hell is you at? I just see you on the bus this morning. He like, shit, I took the early bus. I had to go break in the gym to go work out. I'm like, work out early? That's out. But shit, I saw how dedicated he was. So he, you know, he could see past what I was seeing past. But my thing was the shit I thought was cool. That was the coolest shit in the world to me. Like I knew I was good at sports, obviously, but you know, I was God given. God gave me talents that got me by for so long without having to do anything extra. He had the same talent, but I mean, better talent. But his work ethic was on another level. So,
you know, it's so crazy because the same way you grew up with him, I grew up with him. You know, with him and Jerome being best friends.
I mean, well, me, him, and Jerome started together at Grossman. I started at Grossman.
That's what I'm saying. So y'all all played together at Grossman.
Yeah, we all played together.
I remember being a little kid, man, practicing kickoffs with Reggie Bush and Jerome Turley. They both in the newspapers and stuff, and I'm just a little dude, and I'm letting them kick the ball off my finger and my big toe. You know what I'm saying? That's how everybody used to kick off back in the day. And then like even going to Helix with y'all, right? And it's like, yeah, Reggie was like you said, tunnel vision. The nigga had a 4.3 GPA. Nigga knew he was going to. He was supposed to go to what? He wanted to go to Stanford or Notre Dame and be.
But not to cut you off, but he had that at Helix was already college prep school. He was in honors classes, so you know he was on a whole nother level for us where he wanted to be. So everything he got, he deserved.
Yeah, and then you know you see him, and I just remember after all the games, he always wore that Superman shirt underneath his shoulder pads. You know he knew he was. I don't know if that's where I get my fixation for Superman or what, because I got, you know, I'm like a huge, you know, comic book Marvel superhero type of nigga. You feel me? Like I don't know if that's just might have been the start of it for me, but to even touch base on everything that you're talking about and all the talent, and I know you know, early influences and everything that everybody's seen. You know, I remember at the start of my journey, you know what I'm saying? Like I told you, you know, T80s was kind of like my, you know, because I wasn't around. Like it's kind of like a lot different than over there. You know, it's like y'all got like a pecking order. Over here, it's like every man for himself. You know, Wild Wild West for real. So it's like, but like you're more so around young homies. Only like so many older homies really be like around. I just remember seeing niggas like Shannon Bow and all the niggas like when I was younger. And you heard about the reputation, but like the niggas I looked up to was only so many years older than me. You know. You know what I'm saying? And just looking at shit. And it was like, I remember like before I was really even banging, I was 13 starting at Helix, right? 13 turning 14. You know, I'm supposed to graduate at 17. Cause my birthday in October. So I like right before the cut. But I remember like going to the skating ring, and I ain't know nothing about no Mickey Slick and all that, but I know Triggeration Station came out. And I remember going to the skating ring, and all them niggas had them black Triggeration Station hoodies on. And I was there today that a nigga smacked a homie. He wasn't even a homie at the time. A nigga smacked the homie over a car with a skate, right? You know, me and bro talk about this story several times, so you know, but you know, like, and that was, you know, that was like the start of it for me, like, you know, going and when I used to be able to go to FanMart, like, you know, before I was in it like that, I was 13, 14, I could go to FanMart and get it fit, and, you know, niggas could go to the, you know, to the skating ring off 8th Street, and niggas just skating, niggas just going there, you know, little beezies up there, and that was just a cool thing to do. And then you get into this shit, then it's like, all right, can't do this and that no more, can't do that no more. I mean, you could do it, but can't go solo, you know, gotta be with homies. But what was y'all like? I guess the biggest loss that you like. Well, I guess when you realized it was really real. What was that point where it kind of, things went from being fun, like, at first it starts off as fun, but went from being fun to being, you're like, all right, this is dangerous.
Right. It's kind of hard because I want to say D'Angelo, but I think Aaron cousin, Ahmad, Baby Wicked was the one that really, really fucked me up. Like, okay, it's someone I've been with my whole life. Like, damn, okay, like this is real.
Didn't he pass though after Steve?
Huh?
Didn't he pass after? Oh, Steve, he passed first, and then Steve was a little bit later, huh?
Yes,
Steve. I remember that.
Steve was 6 months later.
Yeah,
6 months later.
And that was
6 months.
That was my dude.
I mean, that one really, you know what I mean? That was my boom. So that one really fucked me up. But Baby Wicked was the one though. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I definitely understand that because for us, Lil Sleep was like a superhero too in his own. You know what I'm saying? And when he died, I was like, shit. If they can get him, they can get anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, not that he was the most responsible person in the world. He thought a lot of things was jokes and games. And I mean, for me, I guess when you die 5 days before your 18th birthday, and you buried, well, he died on the 15th. He was buried on the 22nd. Birthday on the 20th September. So yeah, when I guess that was the realest moments for me. But for you, Aaron, that was, what did that do to you when you lost your relative?
So the first person I ever lost was Lynn Bell. This was like in 2001, I think. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think I kind of always knew. Well, no, I don't think you never know, right? I don't think you ever really know. But you kind of know, or you think you know, right? But in 2001, I was 13 maybe? 12, 13. That hit me hard. But then my relative, it's my first cousin. It's 2006. Ahmad Lewis passed. And then Steve, you know what I mean? Like I've been knowing these, all of them since childhood. You know what I mean? So they all hit you hard, especially if you've been with them, your whole life. But I think as time goes on, for me personally, I'll speak for myself, you almost kind of expect it, right? Or you just waiting for it. I actually kind of remember, and Daryl, I don't even know if you remember this, but I remember I sent you a text message one day. This might have been, I think it might have been right after Steve, maybe, of like, why are we still here? Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember.
You remember Lil Wayne came out with this song? It was like, what am I doing, right? It was like him in the game or something.
Yeah.
Like, dear
My
life.
life.
Right, yeah, right. I remember when I was driving up the Ep.5 freeway. I don't know why I remembered it. I remember like it was yesterday. I was driving the Ep.5 freeway. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, well, why am I still here? Like, what am I doing right? What are we doing right? You know what I mean? Because it was almost kind of like getting to a point where you was almost expecting it or just waiting for your turn.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lynn Bell, 2001. I think it might have been like, yeah.
And you understood death at 13?
I think you didn't have a choice, right? Like I understood death probably earlier than that, right? Like whether it was somebody.
I mean, because you had always heard of the names, the names before you, so you understood it. Like it was a name that was synonymous with growing up over here. So you kind of know. So when it happened, yeah, you like, okay, this is it. Yeah, this is it.
I done seen and heard of niggas dying, but I don't think anybody's death, like once Lil Sleep died, that's when I really like at 17 and 18, like I started to understand the concept that this is a real life thing. You know what I'm saying? And this can really happen to you. Like it can really be over. Like, you go and you see your people in a casket. Like when I was younger and I seen people die, like, or went to a funeral, was a young person, this and that. I mean, it was sad, but it didn't, when you're younger and you look at a little kid that lose their parent, they hurt, they sad their parent is gone. But if they lose their parent in high school, like 15, 16, 18, or you lose them in your early 20s, like, you kind of, now you really, like, this is forever. Like, when you're younger, I think you can heal from it a lot easier and faster. When you're older, the concept of it is, like, a lot more traumatizing. So I think that was the beginning of it, and then after that, like, you see FO, you see certain other people die, and it was like, and it's just like, man, like, any day, like you said, any day could be anybody going to, you watching every car that driving down the street from you. You never take the main line. You always on the back street. Anybody take 2 turns with me, nigga. I'm out of here, right? I'm ghosting the whip, right? I'm out of here, and to see how fast you going. If you trying to really follow me, I got call a homie to come outside. I'm gonna come down your street. I think a car following me, like, like when it got like that, I know that was real. But when we talked about football and scholarships ruining it, I remember Believe. Cause me and him used to chop it up on MySpace and stuff all the time. Cause we fam, so he always kind of always showed that love, and he used to kind of discourage what was going on while it was still early for me to get out. But I remember he was gone playing college, you know what I'm saying, and then left college to come back, and then who would have known? I mean, he was. If you think about him, that nigga was a grown-ass man, grown man body at 16, 17.
Yeah, he was.
That nigga, what he could have done, right? Like,
super athlete. He was a super athlete.
Yeah.
Hands this big. He was crazy. Football and track.
Track star.
Yeah.
Gift. He used to run. I think he used to run with the Blue Blockers, or what was it?
He was at. Wasn't he with y'all? Where was he at?
He was with us, with the Gazelle. It was Gazelle Striders, and then San Diego Striders, and then Team USA.
Yeah.
He ran. I know, like, I think Mike George was on the track.
Yeah, Mike.
Team USA. Yeah, Mike George. It was him, Mike George.
Darren.
Darren McNeil.
And Kenyon.
Yeah.
Kenyon Blue.
Kenyon Blue, yeah.
Yeah. So when you think about it, it's like, man, you get to thinking about people who really could have, like, not to disrespect other niggas that didn't have talent, but you think about where a lot of people could have been in their life and their careers had they had better influences or not grew up in this circumference. A lot of people don't understand, like, I was dating a girl and I'm like, listen, you should appreciate and admire people for their triumph over what they grew up knowing, like, and was able to psychologically break themselves from that. But I wanted to touch on your YA experience, Aaron. How did you end up in YA?
Man, so because of going to bail, right? Like, so my father, in retrospect, we talk about things now, but I'm telling my father, like, Pops, I can't go to bail, right? Like, these dudes is coming up there from Morris every day to fight me, and my father is, I'll never forget, he told me straight up, like, you need to figure out a way, like, navigating without getting yourself involved in nonsense kind of thing, right? Which means nothing. I don't know what that even means. I'm in 7th grade. Right? And I'm like, these dudes is coming up here to fight me. Like, I'm not starting stuff, But again, my uncle, right? My father's brother-in-law, I tell him, and, so it's dudes in the neighborhood that, he like, y'all go make sure that my nephew is okay. So I had dudes in the neighborhood who was coming to like pick me up from school, right? So anyway, they would come pick me up from school. We ended up getting into, a car. So I didn't know, but they picked me up from school. The car, it was a high model. The car was stolen. So they end up, the person who was driving is crashing the car. We all get out the car, we run, right? But I leave my backpack in the car. We all get away. I leave my backpack in the car. And it was one of them, like, I know they gonna come get me, either from school, because, you have school IDs. They gonna come get me. I just go back to the scene. I just walk back to the scene, And the officer was like, I know you didn't steal the car because you jumped out. I saw you get out the back. You tell me you took it, I'll let you go. I'm like, take me to jail, right? And he tried his best not to take me to jail, right? Like I remember, man, this dude took me to McDonald's. Then we go down to the station. He calls my father, and my father is like, if he don't tell you who stole the car, take him to jail. Right? Like, dude did not want to take me to jail, right?
You got to know his dad to understand.
Yeah.
That, man.
Anyone who know my dad will know, like, that makes sense. Right? Like, my dad is like the dad. What's that movie? Boys in the Hood. Is it Boys in the Hood? So, anyway, he take me to juvenile hall. And, I do my little court date, maybe like 3 days later. And, they like, listen, man, this dude, 2-parent household, ain't never been in trouble. Like, and my father, like me and my brothers, I got 3 brothers, or 2 older brothers and then 2 older sisters. But in our house, in my father's house, if you didn't have a 3.5, you couldn't play sports, right? Like, he wasn't doing none of that 2.0 stuff. So, I got a high GPA, not because I actually enjoyed school, but because I wanted to play sports. They like, man, like, what is this dude doing in here? Like, we go back to let him go. But it's to the recommendation of the parents. I don't know how they do juvenile court now, but at the time, it was the recommendation of the parent. My father the judge asked, the judge asked my father, like, oh, we're gonna release him, pretty much he don't need to be in here. And my father stood up in court, didn't acknowledge the judge or nothing, and just called my name, Aaron. I turned around, he like, who stole the car? And I just turned around on him. And he said, take him to jail. And they sentenced me to 285 days, 284 days breaking cycle. So you only supposed to do, I got sentenced to Campo, 56 days or something like that. But at that point in time, if you fought, they would give you 5 days. They would add 5 days to you, So, I was young, and then, I was in there with, Brandon Price at the time was up in there. Popping Peas was in there. I don't know, I remember Andy Williams, a kid that shot up Santana High. The white boy way back yonder was in there. I was in it was a lot going on. So it was a lot of fighting. So I kept getting them 5 days added up, and I ended up maxing out. And then that ended up 86ing you pretty much. And then I ended up getting sent to YA. I got out maybe once or twice. And I would violate because I was going to like Summit and Alba, and I think it was another school, YDC or something like that. They would send you to all those continuation schools. But juvenile hall is really pretty much kind of you fighting so much, you end up gaining a reputation. You know what I mean? Whether you wanted to. It's kind of like you get dropped off in the jungle, you better turn into a lion, whether you want to or not. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. So I ended up developing a reputation that I wouldn't necessarily say I kind of wanted, but it was, that's just kind of what was going on in there. So I would violate when I came out. Eventually, you violate so many times they see you on a 90-day op. Or what you say is call it at the time 90-day op to YA. So I ended up doing a little like 2 stints in YA for a second, which was difficult. But yeah, I don't even think they got YAs no more. I think they might have shut down all the CYAs.
You don't got no more CYAs?
Nah, it's over.
Yeah, because all the stuff that was going on.
Yeah, that shit was damn near inhumane.
Yeah.
I heard all kinds of stories about how the dude took a teacher and did what he did with a teacher and dumped her into
YA might be the wildest place out of all the jail entities. That shit probably the worst.
Yeah. So you did 2 stints in YA, you said?
Yeah.
Damn it. So moving forward, niggas is adults, grown men out on the streets doing their own thing. How did, I mean, you know, I know we in the mindset of what we in, but how did all that happen? What was y'all indictment called again that hit in 2015? What they call it? Because I mean, there's so many. There's Operation Lucky Strike, and there's always one. We had Red Sky right around the same time, and all this shit back. We had Red Sky in 2009, and then y'all shit hit in 2014, 15?
14, yeah.
I don't know if did ours have a name?
I don't think it had a name.
Yeah. If it did, I can't remember.
Yeah, if it did, I can't remember. It probably did, but I can't remember it though.
I heard so much about that case and bullshit, and it was altering like recordings, phone recordings and shit.
That case.
I don't really think anyone actually understands or knows our case other than probably 5 people who were actually on our case. Outside of like the attorneys or like.
Before I go there though, hold on. Let's rewind it back to the Cherry Tuck Gang album. Oh wait, man. Anybody ever had this conversation? Let's rewind it back to the Cherry Tuck Gang album. And that album came out, the first thing that anybody heard was Beer in the Big. And when niggas heard that, niggas, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? That was the hardest shit running around in the streets. I don't give a fuck where you was from. You was listening to Beer in the Big. I don't give a fuck how anti-Lincoln you think you might have been. Everybody liked Beer in the Big, right? How did that whole album come across? And then they got the whole Southeast. I mean, Crips is on there, Bloods is on there, Blood Broads is on there. You had Googie Monster, CV3. You had a gang niggas on that album. Yep. You got a couple of homies. You got Boss Man. You got Nuts. You got how did all that album come up? Go through at the same time. The Feds is hot. There's a lot going on.
And that is so. Don obviously came, got us. We wasn't rapping. We was just hanging out. I ain't know what a bar was or nothing. So we came, got us together. We got to do it, and he came to this idea. He always he was always giving it up to the Skyline homies and all just the different neighborhoods around Southeast. That was his thing. Prior to that, if you go back to his shit prior to that, so we started doing it, and it just started catching on fire, and everybody just wanted to be included, and turned into a real unity movement, which is that created a lot of friendships outside of your neighborhood, and a lot of them shit still right now to this day exist because of that. Like, it's a lot of dudes I mess with because of that, and it was a good movement. I didn't understand how powerful it was. I was so young, but it was super powerful. It was dope. It was dope. I wish I would took advantage of it more, for as the camaraderie of it, for as the neighborhoods and cities. But it was dope, man. What a time.
Yeah, man. I think after Beer in the Big hit, me and Red Rag March was on MySpace, and that's everybody was to that. You know what I'm saying? And there was like, okay. This right here, this is slapping, you know what I'm saying? And then y'all started printing up the albums, but how did them studio sessions go?
Man, you gotta go back. That was 07, 08, so Southeast is still Southeast. It was 20, 30 dudes up in there, everybody on deck, but you had everybody from everywhere. So that shit was like a function, like the respect everybody had for each other was dope. Like I said, it was something that probably never could be done again. I don't know. That's gonna be a hard thing to replicate because it wasn't no egos. Everybody was on some, man. Everybody was on some cool shit, man. Everybody was in there it was a party with a bunch of dudes that you didn't like 6 months ago. You know what I mean? And it was like kind of genuine. Everybody had respect for each other. Everybody, because the whole thing when you get to understanding that everybody hard, everybody tough, everybody can fight, everybody can shoot. So when you get to understanding that, like you be like, man, that shit really ain't about nothing. You know, it's damn near hard to say, oh, this neighborhood hard. Man, it's hard niggas from everywhere. Well, Montana, South Dakota, Idaho, you know what I mean? So you gonna have real niggas from everywhere. So once you get to understanding that, like, man, it's real niggas from everywhere. You start getting a realization, and they was kind of older too, so they kind of understood what I was gonna understand in 10 years later. So you know, like Boss Man and Donald, they was kind of older, so they Googie and them, dad already got the understanding of what we was gonna understand later on.
But how was it? You know, I guess without saying too much, I mean, Buddy is on a global, nationwide, man.
Oh yeah. And listen, as far as that, it was the most top secret. You had to go check the scene out for 20 minutes, make sure the coast is clear. He come in there, sneak in there. He on America Most Wanted at the time. I'm like literally getting aired every weekend. But we was so fucked up that we ain't thinking none of it. It's just a regular day. We don't really care. It's like, now I'd be like, hell no, I ain't going to that motherfucker. But back then, you ain't really thinking too much of it. You just, man, your mind was so condensed to the bullshit. So you just another day.
Because it was like, I heard the nigga would go up in the studio session in a wheelchair like he was retarded or something.
Oh yeah. He had all the antics, all the dressing up and all the. Yeah, he definitely had all the antics, and he only got caught because he was driving with his lights off. That's the only reason why he even got caught. He was doing a hell of a job. He got caught on some fluke shit, driving with his lights off at nighttime.
I thought it was like possible DUI stop or some shit.
Yeah, I mean, shit, you driving at 9 o'clock at night with your lights off, they gonna pull you over. Once they pull you over, shit, it's over.
Yeah, used to be homie. Used to be my brother. It's just one of them things where you love a nigga to death, but a nigga took the wrong path. And you have to cut a nigga off, right? You can't fuck with a nigga that goes against the cloth of everything that we stand for. And I remember he used to fuck with his girl is a nigga baby mom. Mm-hmm. Told me one time he was up in there listening to some of that old East hanky, disrespectful, whatever shit. He's whatever the fuck. And he's up in there bumping some East shit. He used to go down into the kitchen and go get a drink or something like that. Didn't know the nigga was there. Nigga closed the refrigerator like a movie mode. Closed the refrigerator, nigga right there, like, what's happening, homie? Thought you saw the boogeyman. That nigga said, I ain't lying. Thought he saw the boogeyman. That nigga said, I got K's, 5 of them, 2 of them. You know what I'm saying? That was my favorite rapper in the Southeast for a minute. One of my favorite rappers, until everything else is what it is. But I was like, damn, that was funny. The homie, when he told me about that, I was screaming. He was like, man, that nigga, I closed that refrigerator door, that nigga was right there.
Man, Southeast have talent though, man. For it everywhere. I think Dago Music lost his touch trying to be like everybody else. And like I think them eras, them early 2000 eras of everybody's making hard shit. Even for the gangbang lower level shit was hard. Talking about from the murder gangs, from the East Trippins to all that shit that shit was hard. Cousin Isis and over in the coast, and man, it was some shit going on.
First time I ever heard that shit with Tiny Mad and Tiny doing that slip, slide, D-I.
Yeah.
The little dude, Look, D-Moss, he used to bump that shit. He used to think that was the funniest shit in the world. He used to bump it. That was the first time I ever heard it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we all bumped each other. we used to play. We used to play East Trippin' too. We all bumped each other.
Yeah,
it was good. It was some hard shit.
Yeah,
it was good
hard.
shit.
But it was like motivation. It was kind of like fuel.
Yeah.
You know, like that was a great time, man. Like I said, the Cherry Chuck album, that was a classic. You know, it showed a lot of love to a lot of people, and I see the direction that it was going and where niggas wanted to go with. And then at that time, I'm in and out. These 2006 to 2010, I'm in Bailey every other month. I'm pretty much Bailey, South Bay. You know, I missed, I don't know, 2-3 Christmases in a row, birthdays, Easters, and whatever. You know, I think a reckoning moment for me was Easter, like 2010. Nigga, Mexico had that crazy earthquake. It was like a 7-point something or something on the Richter.
Yep.
Nigga, I was in the cell in George Bailey. That motherfucker started shaking on Easter morning. Oh, Jesus is coming back. The world is ended up. I'm gonna die in the goddamn jail. I can't do nothing. I can't run over here. I'm in the bottom tier. The ceiling's about to fall down on me. Nigga, I'm trying to go jump in my bunk. It don't even matter if that fall down. The bunks is metal, but I'm finna get smashed. Like, it was nothing I could do. I'm sitting there playing fucking chess or something with the homie, and it's nothing I can do. At that point, I was like, yeah, but I don't want to be in jail no more. Yeah, I ain't never doing no telling, but we got to make better decisions. I can't get no I can't drink no soda and no ice cream in this motherfucker. It's some of the things I really enjoy in life: soda, ice cream, and I can't get none of the three. And then I'm dying here and then the Tremors was hitting for the next couple of days. You know what I'm saying? That right there was a scary moment for me. But for y'all wasn't done yet, evidently.
Yeah.
So the indictment hit 2014. Where was y'all at when they came and scooped you?
Well, it's funny, right? To backtrack to his dad, go back to bring up Ahmad. He told Ahmad a couple days before he died, like that he was gonna die. He told him a couple days before he died that he was gonna die. That's type of person he is. Like, hey man, God told me that if you don't start doing what you're doing, you're gonna die. He died like a week later.
Damn it.
That was on a Sunday. I remember he told me that was on a Sunday. One of the little meetings he used to always call every Sunday. He told me that Sunday. I think Ahmad probably died a Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. It happened fast. But me and Aaron, we was at a little restaurant on Euclid, Felix's Barbecue. And he told me, like, hey man, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you got going, you need to stop or you gonna go to jail. Like, at the time, I wasn't doing nothing no more. I was like 5-6 months where I just snapped out of it. Like, you know what I mean? I started trying to transition to just getting away from it. And I'm like, I ain't, nah. And 3 days later, I'm in Temecula with my boy Donnie, and I get a call about 5 in the morning. Hey, they just snatched up Wutu. They snatched up. I'm like, damn. I'm like, they all going in? Are they snatched up Tiny Dude? I'm like, Tiny Dude. Right, and this is my everyday boy. So I'm like, he went to jail? Like, I'm like, he was doing something behind my back. I ain't know, but like, I can't put it together. I'm like, what's going on? Like, he had a play there, so bring in the car, get the car. I'm like, and so, like, damn, they picking up all my boys. So, Donnie was like, man, let me check, see if I got one. Nah, I ain't got one. He's like, let me check, see if you got one. He typed in my name, and his eyes got big. I'm like, what? He's like, you got one. I'm like, for what? He like, say 182.5, $1 million bill. Now I'm lost, right? So I'm like, all right, let me leave so I go figure it out. I'm at one of my friends' house. Leave there. As I'm getting in the car, I just start seeing the gang undercovers around. They jumped out. Man, cuffed, put me in the van, took me back to Dago. And shit, it was just a fight since there. And man, that was the start of me. That was the start of me waking my game up. Like, okay, yeah, this ain't it. This ain't it. That was how they got me though, and that was the start of me waking my game up. So realizing what life was about and how much shit I've been missing in terms of real life, like real life things, like the shit I thought was life. That shit ain't life. Traveling and family and just living, man.
What about you, BS?
Man, I think
Where was you at?
I was so in parts of me kind of like figuring it out, right? Kind of like, I don't know, this ain't. I don't know about this. I think I kind of not gonna say I always been that way, but again, like, you know, me here, there talking about my father. You know what I mean? Like I always knew, right? Like this ain't right, but like these are my friends. So my loyalty comes from, you know what I mean? Just like I'm just loyal to my friends. If they don't like you, I don't like you. It doesn't really actually kind of matter why they don't even like you, right? Or even if it did, then me and my friend would talk about that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even going back to his Cherry Chuck gang, like, I'm not a rapper, right? But like, all right, this is what Daryl and TD and them is doing. Them is my friends. You know what I mean? So okay, well, I'm Cherry Chuck gang too then. You know what I mean? It's just an allegiance to my friends. So what? But I think it was, you know what I mean? The homies used to call me Harry Potter, right? A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. The homies used to call me Harry Potter because I'm a reader. Like, I'm like the nerd homie. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be hanging out with the homies. We be in the Dead Bay Village, Trails, wherever, and I'll be off to the side reading a book. I used to read the Harry Potter books or whatnot. You know what I mean? So, you know, I remember I used to ask homies questions. Like, so why we don't like them? You know what I mean? Like, why don't we? I used to just ask questions. I used to kind of get in trouble for asking questions. You know what I mean? But it, you know,
5'8".
huh?
I said we used to be 5'8". Why we don't like them now?
I used to just ask questions. You know what I mean? Because I just didn't understand. It was certain things that kind of it just didn't start making sense. You know what I mean? Because like Daryl was saying, like we used to bump East Tripping. Like, so we go to and we listen to him, but then like we went to school with a lot of people too. You know what I mean? Like he didn't slept at my house a bunch of times. You know what I mean? Like my parents have a house in Encanto. You know what I mean? like, you know, so I knew him, you know, as a kid or whatnot. So, you know what I mean? It was always just like, I don't really understand this, but whatever, I'm rocking with my homeboys or whatnot. But with the case, I was so mad at that case because one, I was living in Las Vegas. I had been living in Vegas for maybe like 2 years, maybe 3. It was a little minute. We was on a case with 17 people or 15 people. I probably didn't know majority of them. Knew of them maybe, but like didn't really know them. I hadn't probably seen anybody in how, you know, a year and a half or whatever the case may be. But I had already kind of moved on. You know what I mean? Like we was old. You gotta think I was 20.
We had started figuring it out by then. that year, we had all kind of figured it out. That
On
year.
your government indictment thing, right? That they show on there. This nigga Jay Briggs don't even got a name on there.
Right, like we was old. I think I was 27.
It say Jay Briggs. I'm like, what? It got a name?
Yeah, like
Not even got a name.
we was so old by then. It was kind of like, and almost kind of like one of the running little jokes when we used to be in the holding tank going to court. You know, one of the homies used to clown me. Kind of a couple of us, like, yeah, bet you didn't think you ever be in here. Like, what you doing in here? Kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that case didn't really kind of it makes sense now. I understand it now because, again, I'm a big time reader, so I read every single page of our discovery and then so on and so on. That really kind of understanding laws and policies and things like that. But at the time, I was like, this don't make no sense.
But where was you at and what was you doing when they snatched you?
I was in Las Vegas. So I'm in Vegas, coming out my house, And man, it was like the military. It was like SEAL Team 6. It was helicopters, it was dogs, wasn't nobody in uniform. It was all, it was the big things,
You a fast nigga, you didn't.
Man, if I'd have ran, they would have gunned me down. Like I wouldn't even like it was when you can run and when you just kind of gotta like, nah, this ain't even it. So they arrested me. They arrested me, man. And the cold part about it is like I'm so goofy or like so removed. I'm like I laughed. I was like, I told the police, I said, man, whoever y'all was looking for just got away. Cause like all this noise y'all just made and all this, you know what I mean? So they say my name. I'm like, well, that's a common name, whatever.
Can't be me. This can't be
like
little me.
But they say you wanted for 9 murders in the state of California. I said, I ain't killed 9 people. And I'm like, well, I ain't killed nobody. But I definitely ain't killed 9 people, right? He like, whatever. Pretty much kind of like telling to the judge, it was the U.S. Marshals. Like, I don't care. And even with them, like, they was like, I was so cool. Because honestly, I was just like, I'm going to go down to the county. Y'all going to figure this out. And I'm going to get released, They was so cool. They ended up taking me to like Del Taco or something like that. Like, they was like, and then they told me, it was like, man, if you wouldn't have came out your house, like, we didn't know where you were at. They knew I was in the area. They was about to leave. They said, you just ended up walking out the door. We was about to leave. But they was like, man, either you a sociopath or you really didn't do this. I'm like, well, I don't even know what y'all talking about. I ended up doing 30 days close to it in Las Vegas. Then I get extradited by the police who was on our indictment. They picked me up in the SDPD, one of them Explorers, cuffed me, drive me down to San Diego. And then once we get to the San Diego County, they're like, you got anything you want to say? I'm like, I ain't got nothing. And they just booked me, put me in, boom, and I never got an interrogation. I never, nothing. You know what I mean? And then it just went from there.
That's the best way. That's what I be telling folks. I'm like, listen, I only been in one interrogation room ever. When I figured out that that's where we was going, like once I got into an interrogation room, they tried to pull out a GPM folder, a bunch of shit, show me this, this, I don't know none of these niggas that you talking about. What the fuck is that, right? Like, like after that, every time I got arrested, when they was trying to take, you might as well just go ahead and take me to the regular jail. Right there through the whoop, across the street right there. I ain't got nothing to say. Because don't trick yourself off. Like, even though all this shit is a facade and it's fake, right? It ain't about nothing, because you look at it and the niggas that you love and used to be cool with, friends with, look up to, a lot of them niggas might not even be good no more, right? You look at the Gucci situation to this day, right? A lot of niggas crashing out behind trying to be like a certain nigga and then they go do what they do, right? It's like the best thing you can do is avoid interrogation rooms and go sit down. They tell you don't say nothing, talk to your lawyer. Talk to your lawyer, because I see niggas give information, testifying, still did 15. Use a dummy. Yeah. There's no way. It's no way you didn't go home right then and there. There's no way you didn't go home right then and there. Yeah. You just said some shit. There's no way your stupid ass stayed in there and let them get you like that. It's just with paid representation. It's no motherfucking way. But anywho, moving forward. So you how long did you have to stay in the county? And when you seen TD come in there with you, being like, ain't like Beef said, like, this nigga doing some shit, like he had his day. He ordered in all of us, so he had his time where he was the, he was the nigga. Now he just a rapper.
Man, I hadn't seen TD in probably 2 years. And I've been on TD my whole life. You know what I mean? TD was like one of the first people I ever really kind of met as a kid, right? Like 4 or 5 years old or whatnot. I think I might have been the last person to go to jail.
Yeah, you was.
Yeah, I think I was the last person. So everybody had already been in jail like a month before, right? So when I got in there,
you came to me.
Yeah, okay, boom, 2C109. Damn.
2C109. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was in there with Beef and a couple of other folks. I can't.
2C.
It was in Bailey. Yeah. And it was just kind of like, from my perspective, I can't speak from everybody's perspective because now we going on like 12 years. That was like 12 years ago. No one knew. Like, we didn't have a discovery. Yeah. Like, no one knew why we were in jail. Yeah. Right? We knew.
Was vague. Overly vague.
And then they had like a seal on the discovery, like a federal seal, because they said they had informants in an active case, and they was all trying to make, certain people on our case seem like they was like John Gotti, you know what I mean? Like, like we can't, because these certain people on the case can make certain things happen to people and they're, informants or whatever, so they wasn't giving us our discovery. So we really kind of didn't know why we was in there for, I would say, like a month, 2 months, 3 months. It was a couple months. Even our attorneys did.
Yeah, it was a couple months.
And then, somehow, like, I ended up getting my hands on the discovery. Like, no one had.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
You had some. I still ain't seen to this day.
Yeah, I ended up getting my hands on the discovery. Right?
You still got that or no?
Yeah, I still got it.
I didn't have nothing.
Because they had a seal on it, right? Like, we wasn't supposed to, whatever. Anyway, I ended up getting the discovery. And again, right, I think this is kind of where it worked out in a lot of our favor. Is I'm the reader. I'm a reader. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of like the nerd homie, so to say. Man, and I sat down and I read that whole thing front to back. And I remember kind of like just going back to the folks that we was on the case with, like, this is nonsense. Like, don't sign. No, nobody signed. Like, this is about Facebook and Instagram, but like Facebook and pictures, but like not a crime. It's some wiretaps, very vague. Wired, you know what I mean?
They got a wiretap. They come on, go and get Red Bull, go smoke Red Bull or some shit.
Man, they had they had one wiretap where two people were talking to each other, and they was talking about, I was about to come pick up a bottle of Hennessy, and the police got on the stand and said that was code for a gun, right? Then it was another wiretap talking about, you remember we used to say Gerbs and Youngs. Gerbs and Youngs. We got that from the LA homies, right? And it was two homies talking about women. And they was they're talking about they about to go shoot people, And the police was just twisting up our word. They was even police officers coming in testifying on us, and they would wear a green rag in their handkerchief or a Lincoln High School lanyard and wink at us. You know what I mean? Like, right. They knew they was playing games. They knew they was in the wrong. They knew it was a bunch of like very vague, very circumstantial evidence. But then eventually it was some folks who took deals who, because of how things led out, in my opinion, I think it was probably best for them too, because of what you stacked up against, right? Like, I remember the DA would come over to our attorneys and like, listen, I'm gonna paint them as gang members. I'm gonna paint them as this and this, and the jury gonna be 12 white folks. Your best bet is to take a deal. And understanding society and the system that we kind of live in, yeah, your best bet is to probably take that deal, right? But me, TD, and a couple of other people didn't take deals because our cases was kind of almost like separate.
Almost like you guys got a, what do they call that but it was like a state and federal indictment together, right?
I had both.
Yeah.
I remember you did most of all your time in the state, and then when they let you out of the state, the feds picked you up. You had to do a couple more months, right?
Yeah, I had to do the 6 months in the feds. Yeah, it was all. Even then, it was they didn't have. It was bullshit. My name was just so hot from bullshit before. They just found the loophole to fuck you with the fed shit, which made me just have to go do the time, which in a sense for me was a blessing because I got to really wake up and figure it out in there. Like, okay, yeah, this ain't it. Yeah, before I was like, I was just I was damn near doing anything I wanted to. But when that happened, I had to go sit down and all them nights and man, sitting to yourself and them thoughts, and yeah, you start coming to a crossroad, and also you start seeing too the whole gangbanging shit don't make sense. and because you get there and that's your enemies. You eating with, you sleeping with, I mean, y'all love each other now, and it's like, damn, I did all this for this. And that's the crazy part about all that is you get up there and these is your best friends, and you be like, damn, we goofy. And to the point where I feel bad for the dudes that died that didn't get to that died for nothing. Um, and it's like, damn, we done did all this to at the end of the road we gonna end up being cool. Because I don't care who you are, you gonna be cool with everybody when you start getting older.
You're big program. You get up in there.
Yeah, I don't care who you are. So it's like, damn, it all be just like a fucking it all be waste of time, bro. It's everything just be waste of time.
You know what? One thing I always respected about you though is even when a lot of us let the separation separate us, you never really like switched up, changed up. I just told a homie earlier today, we was talking about some shit, and I said, Beef one of the only niggas, I said, only real niggas, I'm like, out of a lot of homies, when it came to the little dude, right? I'm like, nigga, I remember several times, bro, like just seeing you. I remember one time I bumped into you at Parkway Plaza at the mall. And he was like, here, take this $100 and throw it on bro book.
Yeah.
Like, bro name is
yeah.
for doing, but it's like, that's family.
Yeah.
You feel me? So it's like, bro, like, there's this that we do, and then bro, still this. So, and then for me, like, I be telling niggas, I'm like, look, I never really hang out and fuck with niggas that didn't maybe chip the home. You got a reputation for that. I said, I always respect that distance. I said, but I'm not gonna sit here and hate a nigga forever for doing some shit that you was conditioned to learn to do as a kid. We did all this shit as a kid. You conditioned to learn this and you grow up.
Child.
Hate a nigga forever because you was doing what you were supposed to do. I respect a nigga more, even though this shit is a facade, it's fake. Yeah. I respect a nigga more for abiding by the code, sticking to it, sitting down, doing your time and coming home and, getting back to your life and your family and learning from it. Now, if you still a devil and you still encouraging some shit that's not for it, then probably not for me at all.
Right.
But you said you felt like you had to take the deal just because, like, the way the feds is and RICO, the way that they tie you in. But
yeah, they was just. But once you get up under that federal racketeering shit and that got you, now you ain't. You stuck. As far as my state case, I would have went home. It was because it was. I wasn't involved in nothing. Like literally, like they didn't have nothing. I mean nothing. They just slid me up under that federal one, which overrode the state one. So it's like you may as well just sign the state one because you got to sign the fed one. So that was the man. That case, man. Shit, I spent a lot of money. I spent $16,000 on a lawyer just to get that deal.
I remember we was just talking to I want to say days before they snatched you, maybe a day or 2 days. Like we was just on Instagram and talking about some shit, and then they snatched you up, and they was like, "Oh, this nigga locked up for what?" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "We was just," and I know niggas on some chill shit, but I always tell niggas, I'm like, "Listen, I never tripped off none of the old shit because I know a lot of shit I got away with. Like at some point, it's a tit for tat. You got to trade something. All
exactly.
That got away. It just never I used to wonder how the fuck do niggas not go to jail? I'm in this motherfucker 2 times a year at least. How you niggas not going to jail for nothing? I'm gonna GSU. These niggas, I'm GSU. I got 8 o'clock curfew, alcohol. They come through once, twice a month to your house. It's 6, 7 deep. Handcuff you, put you on the couch. Ransack your shit. They trying to get in your phone that they see it. They trying to get in your computer. They see it. They looking for anything. Gang affiliated. Don't have nobody at your house. Nothing. If you out past 8 o'clock, you better be with a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like they tripping. I be like, y'all niggas, all these reputations for doing all this shit. Y'all niggas will never go to jail. Y'all niggas just fun boys. Ain't no way y'all niggas ain't going to jail. But you, Aaron, you and T didn't take the deal. Y'all did how long in the county before they let y'all go?
I think like 9, 10 months, maybe. I think something around there. But we didn't. The case is so complex, right?
I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to understand how, because like he said, once they got you under federal racketeering and yada yada, you was living out of state. But the whole time they tying y'all in. I know they tied TD in on some rap shit. Like,
So-
how they tie y'all into it and try to? And how did you get out of it?
So 182.5 in essence states that if you are documented as a gang member, you can be held liable for crimes committed by that gang, whether you had knowledge of it or not. Right? Like that don't even sound real, right?
You could be in a coma while something happened, and they can still charge you. That was the rule. That was it.
And the judge asks the DA that. Like what Beef just said is what the judge, because the judge was confused. It was the first time this law had ever been used, right? So the law got voted in under Prop 21 in the year 2000, right? They hadn't used it. They never used it because it was so draconian. It was such an overreach of like prosecutory, like of just like what the prosecutor could do within their power. No one ever even tried to touch it. They used us as a test case, right? So they tied in TD because they say he benefited from the rap lyrics, right? Like TD raps about things that people are doing, or he's inspiring people to do things, right?
Every other rapper in the world.
Exactly, right? So if Eminem, right, if somebody kills somebody and they say Eminem inspired me, they can go arrest Eminem, right? Like I'm only using these examples because these are the examples I was using in court. When we
If it was documented, then I guess they could.
Not even just documented, just like, why'd you kill that person? I listened to Eminem song. He was talking about killing his wife. So I killed my wife. They can go get Eminem, right? That's a clear violation of the First Amendment. That's how they got TD. They were trying to tie him in from his raps, not because they actually connected him with any crime. Right? You gotta understand too, we was charged, I think, with 9 shootings. Nobody was connected to those shootings. There was like no victims, there was no suspects. There was no victims, no suspects, no guns. There was just 9 random shootings. And they connected us 15 to them, or tried to at least. Right? The only reason why some was able to get hit with the federal indictment and some of us weren't, because like I don't have a record. So for the feds, you had to have kind of like a past over act or like some type of past. Like me and TD didn't, so they couldn't get us to the feds, right? So that was TD. For me, they tied me in through like being in pictures with homies, my name being mentioned on like wiretaps, but not necessarily mentioned in talking about doing stuff, like things that try to construe, you know what I mean? Of there was one in particular where it was a shooting that happened close, like a couple houses up from my grandma's house, like where I was, raised. And I came through one day like, ain't nobody hanging out. Like, what if my grandma used to come outside all the time, be like, y'all, stop hanging out, you know what I mean? Whatever. What if my grandma would have came outside and got shot? Ain't no more drinking, ain't no more smoking. 2 people was talking about that on the wiretap. And the police turned that into, I'm a shot caller, and I was telling people that they can't go, that they gotta be sober before they go shoot people. No more drinking and smoking. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. Like they was just twisting things up. But I ended up being on that indictment because they was calling us the 5200 boys or something like that. Was it the 5200? They was calling us something. I'm the only one with an address on that street. They needed somebody to be on that. They needed a house on that street. They was calling my house like the epicenter of Lincoln Park and stuff like that. So it was just a reach. You know what I mean? I think that, and I don't think, I kind of just know. They just wanted Daryl because, you know what I mean? He's a popular name, a popular guy, right? I think it was a lot of us that was just on that case because some of the investigators or whatnot just have vendettas. Not necessarily people had actually done something, but just vendettas.
Yeah, that was it.
So you never could get niggas when you was younger. So, oh man, we got 9 random shootings. We gonna pin it on these dudes because we think it was Lincoln Park motivated. I thought it was something along that, I don't know if it was something to do with the red dude, the red nigga or whatever, but I don't know. I don't remember exactly if it was Jury Red or it had something to do with the fly shit. I don't know what it was, but they was when the streets was talking, they was trying to make it seem like niggas was going after somebody for someone else. I think what little Fado had got pulled in on that shit too, and it was
Yeah, in the case too.
fake ass. I heard that they was using fake recordings and almost like cutting and pasting shit. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get niggas. So y'all ended up getting not exonerated because y'all didn't even get prosecuted, but they ended up dropping the charges, and then y'all came back with the civil suit.
Well, so they split us up. It was 15 of us, but they split us up. So we had 2 separate prelims. So the first group went. You was in the first group, right? Was you in
I
the
was the
first?
second group.
Oh, you was in a group with us.
No, y'all was the first group.
You right. You right. So they split us up as 15 of us, right? So the first group went. We got bound over for trial in our prelim. They bound us over. But it's the same exact case, same exact evidence, same exact everything. Then the second group went. The judge didn't bind him over for trial. How do you bind over the first group and not bind over the second group for trial? It's the same case.
Yeah.
So some folks got released from our second group.
This nigga, they're on there like,
right?
Yeah.
Some folks got released, right? And then, but then they still had to go through Fed time too. Some people didn't get hit in the Feds and just got out.
Yep.
And then some people had to go through their Fed time. So what our attorneys ended up doing, me and TD specifically ended up doing, saying, well, hold on, wait a minute. If you release the second group, then what about my clients? So they brought us back to court. And the DA was like, the judge wanted to release us right then and there. The DA was like, well, you don't have jurisdiction no more because you already bound them over for trial, yada, 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 yada. So what he said was, well, if I don't have jurisdiction to release them, then I'm gonna reduce their bail. So we had $1.1 million bail. So he reduced our bail to I think $50,000. We ended up paying $5,000 to get out. So we was out on bail for a couple months, but then we appealed, right? It's 995. So we appealed. When we appealed to a new judge, the judge asked the DA straight up, I don't see no connections to any of these, who's in jail for the actual, if there's a conspiracy, who did they conspire with? Or who do you think actually did the shooting? There's no connection to any of these. What connection to the crime? I know what you're calling them. You're calling them gang members. You're calling them this, you're calling them that. But what crime did they actually commit? And it was none, but they're gang members. And the judge was like, that's against their, First Amendment. That's the First Amendment rights. You have the freedom to assemble. That's not against the law, right? And then he dropped our case. So then that's how we got released. So when we got released, we didn't think we had a case, a civil case. And then eventually I was approached by a law firm who wanted to take on the case. It was a couple different law firms, and then me and TD interviewed the law firms. Then we ended up choosing a law firm, Morrison and Forrester. They took on the case. We sued. The city ended up settling with us. They didn't even want to go to court.
They said 1.45 million or something.
Well, yeah.
I heard it was greater. I heard it got greater later, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? So you went from getting snatched out your Vegas home, extradited to California. They took the scenic route. They didn't even fly. You took the scenic route in the STPD cruiser, jammed up for 10 months, reduced bail, charges dropped. You mean you collect your 5 bands back? And then and then a civil case that they picked up and got all the chicken. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. What'd you tell your dad then? It worked out.
It worked out. To be honest with you, man, there's no amount of money. You know what I mean? You can't get time back. It was time I missed. I lost time. Right. It was things that it was things that happened in there that there's no money, right? You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm able to do things sooner, you know, than I probably was gonna do them. Or I don't know, maybe not. Like, I don't know, right? Like, I wrestle with that sometimes when I'm asked that question. Like, was it? I don't think it was worth it. You know what I mean? Like, I think I lost a lot of time. I think I struggled a lot with like my mental space too once you get out, right? And like, we didn't have a release date either. And I think having a release date sometimes helps you be able to prepare for going back outside. We were just released. You know what I mean? So it went from like life in prison to just, oh, now you're out on the streets. And then we got cameras in our face. And now we're expected to be like these activists. Right now I'm expected to speak for all black people and all gang members and all, you know what I mean? All the Southeast. Like, I wouldn't put that on nobody. You know what I mean? Like, so the money, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, I am able to do things. And I feel like I've done a lot of great things with it. I've been able to impact a lot of lives because of it. But honestly, I would have rather not have gone through that.
Well, heavy is the head that wears the crown. I mean, you can say that. Listen, we all three didn't spend time locked up in jail. I ain't get nothing. I don't feel like every time I got jammed, it was justified. I think I went everything I ever went down for another dumb nigga did, and I just happened to be privileged to it or part or there or whatever, and I just got railroaded. I personally hadn't ever got caught doing anything I did myself, right? I got away with a whole lot of shit that I never got caught doing. But, you know, I just took it for what it was, but I didn't get shit for being railroaded in situations. And here I am. I mean, I'm not speaking for the whole community or anything like that. I'm just trying to shed light on the injustice that goes on, right? Like, look at where we at now. And like now, you know, post all of it, I see, bro, you know, Daryl's winning and being a coach and giving back to the community. And, you know, you see a lot of young dudes that will know about you, and you've been inactive for so many years, right? When they'll still hear about you, know about you. They might not know about you, but then someone figure out that you they coach. And then, you know, they might say little things or whatever, and you know, it resonates, and because they're in the same position as you growing up looking at older homies. They see you got a couple nice cars and stuff like that. They see online, see you pulling up, and it's just so sad when you grow up impoverished, you know, you're in poverty, and you just look at what the people got in front of you. And, you know, so it's a great thing, I think, to have someone who's lived it, right? Like, I done lived every aspect of it. You done been shot. We didn't get into that, DC. You done been shot. You know what I'm saying? You done been charged with attempted or murders or whatever. You done served time in the state and the feds, you know, to turn around and run your own business with what you do with the trucks, and, you know, being a coach to the youth, you know. And I think the biggest thing is always working with the youth, and I'm always like, I wish I lived in town so I could do more with like the younger community, you feel me? Because I just, you know, the older I get, the more it's like traumatizing the things that we went through and experienced. And, you know, yeah, we laugh at certain dumb shit, you know, when we was younger, but a lot of this shit is sad. Like, honestly, I didn't want to see y'all homies die. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to see my homies die. It was fun when it was fun. It was fun when niggas was alive. When niggas started dying and niggas started going to jail, it wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
So then it was like the goal was to see niggas die, but then when niggas died, it wasn't fun anymore. And then you get older and you like, damn, this person and that person, you know, like, they could have had a life. They could have had a career. You know, I really like Bleed, you know? So it was like, to see him die was like, you know, even from being from the other side, and, you know, it was like we had a good mutual relationship. But to see niggas die, like, even to this day, to see my homies, your homies, anybody else die, now it's like at a point where it's still traumatizing to me that you still see niggas continue to die and not live to older ages. Like, imagine we got through 15, 16 to 27, 28, 30, whatever, right? Imagine, like, now you at a place where, or you got some G status, you chilling, Like, it's just respect, and you done made it through the county, the prisons, and you getting your life together, having careers, you still seeing niggas die. And it's like, damn, like, we want to live as long as possible. And then even you, Aaron, like, you're an inspiration to a lot of these dudes. Like, you done went, flipped it, like you said, they was calling you Harry Potter, you was reading books. Now you got degrees and shit. You on your way to, law school. And I don't know if you inspired your big brother, but he took the Berkeley route too as well, So I appreciate seeing that from coming, like, I don't know your big brother like that. I know you, but I know of your big brother. You feel me? So, from us and coming up and just seeing people and seeing what you hear and how niggas move, and now niggas is in damn near Ivy League schools and shit, like Berkeley. I don't know if it's Ivy League, but that's pretty, that's pretty up there. That's pretty impressive to be in these law programs. What's the situation with that? How much longer you got? Are you still?
Oh no, I'm done with all that, right? So, can I backtrack a little bit?
Backtrack it.
I honestly think, and specifically speaking about Daryl and my view, right? Like watching him, right? Nothing is a surprise to me, right? Like what he's doing now isn't a surprise. He's always been a leader. You know what I mean? He's always been a trendsetter, right? Whether it was the cars, whether it was the clothes, whether it was the music, but you know what I mean? Like, so he's always been a leader, but he's always his gift and curse is his heart, right? Always got a big heart. It's got him some good places, which I think that's why he's still here, but it's also got him into some situations because of his heart, his loyalty, right? Of people who may not appreciate that and take advantage of it, right? See it as a weakness maybe. So as we get older, and if you survive it, right? That's one thing my father used to always say. If y'all survive long enough, you'll figure it out. Like, you'll get through it. Now that we've survived it, with at least half of our mental brain, you know what I mean? To see him giving back to the youth or the younger kids, in my opinion, he's not just giving back to them, he's also just giving back to himself. He's giving back to that version of him. Because he could have chose any age group, right? And I ain't never had this conversation with you. This is just for me, just like at a distance watching. He could have chose to give back from to any age group. He could have went to high school. He could have went to college. He could have went to. He's at the age where they're very impressionable, right? These are the formative years, right? Where like if I would have had somebody like that in my life who understood, who've been there, you know what I mean? Not dismissing it, because we both have fathers, but I feel like our fathers was very dismissive about what was actually going on, right? Maybe they was in denial, maybe they didn't have the tools to be able to deal with it, whatever the case may be. They human beings as well, right? So seeing him now, right? We went to a UCLA game a couple years back with a bunch of his kids, man, just to see kind of like the presence that he had over them, damn near had me in tears. I couldn't even pay attention to the game. You know what I mean? I think even speaking about with me, I think people who knew me or been knowing me since a kid, like, are not surprised. Like,
it's true.
Kind of, like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, he went off to Berkeley. Oh, he got his degree. He doing his law. So oh, okay, yeah, that's exactly what he would have been doing,
right?
If we hadn't grown up under the conditions and the system that we've grown up on. So now I feel like sometimes in our 30s, we get the opportunity to finally be ourselves, right? Like, I remember I was interviewed by a bunch of high school kids, and they asked me what was the toughest thing that I had to deal with after being released, and I told them being called by my name. That was like the hardest thing to like, right? Like, that's crazy.
Not a B20976.
No, it wasn't that. It was like not being called what the streets call me, right? Like being called Aaron. I wouldn't respond. People would have to say Aaron multiple times before I could respond to it.
You know what? That's still the hardest shit. Because I work for a bank now, right? Who would ever thought That's what I was thinking about. When you saying what you're saying, I was like, well, Beef, you know you my whole life. Did you think I'd be working for a bank before that? Like this a nice apartment community I live in, I used to manage these apartments, right? Not these ones, but even nicer ones in the luxury community. Then I took a higher paying job working for the bank now, right? So it's like I'll be in my head, I'm like, just still playing around. I'm a bankster for real now, right? I work for the bank. Who would have ever thought I'd be working for the bank now? Did I see all these things for myself? No, I seen traveling for myself. I always wanted to be a businessman that wore nice business clothes though, right? But I didn't know how I was gonna get to any of it. Like nothing in my life, I knew how I was gonna get to any of it. I just took advantage. Like I tell people, just like when I had to, like, don't get me wrong. Like when I seen all the niggas winning, like all the shit that y'all was up to in the later 2000s, around 2010, anything I was hearing, I'm getting out. I'm like, I'm finna be on that too. Like whatever niggas was doing, like y'all, if you fuck with the homie and y'all niggas is on what y'all on, I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the homie like I'm trying to get to the bag too. Even when I moved to Atlanta, I got out in 2010. I moved to Atlanta. I'm out there getting to the bag on that type of time, right? And it's like, I've always really wanted to be about some paper, right? And want to do things, but I didn't know how it was gonna break. I didn't know how I didn't know how I was gonna break into the corporate world. But when I left in 2014 and came to Arizona from Atlanta, but all right, I took a job as a lifeguard. Nigga, I didn't even know how to swim all these. I went on YouTube, figured out how to side stroke, scissor kick, breaststroke, like make sure the techniques was right and all the things, right? Inverted breaststroke kicks, no hands, right? I did all that just to make $8.24 an hour. That's what I made in 2014. 2015, by December, I think in 2015, I made 20 grand. 2016, I worked part-time in an IT company. I got a job at an IT company. Just like every job I had, I was talking to folks and they led me to the next position and whatever, just learning shit. Took this job working for an IT company. I worked 20 hours a week, made 40K that year in 2016. 17, 18, 19, 20, made 96, went full-time, 96, 97, 99. Like I went from 20K the year before to 40 to 96, 97, 99, you know what I'm saying? And ever since then, like, I was just learning. Like, this is still somebody, listen, I never finished, I don't have any credentials of any kind. I'm just gonna say that, of any kind. Of any kind. Work for the bank, right? So I be trying to tell young people, like, listen, man, like, it ain't where you started or how you started, but it took a lot of time, dedication, and discipline to not go do that and go get that quick money and sit here and struggle and, make my way and stay out of trouble. Like, even, like, get my felonies expunged and shit, right? Because, like, damn, how long you had to... I'm like 7 years, 5 to 7 years, you can stay out of trouble. They're like, man, that's a long time. I said, you plan on living that long, right? You plan on living that long, just stay out of trouble. But it's gonna come. All this time, but it's gonna go by. So, like I said, I commend you. You finished school. I commend you both for what you're doing. You finished school is going the law route and being a lawyer. Is that still the goal for you, or what's the plan now?
So actually, I'll be honest, right? Like, damn, I don't even think I've ever really said this out loud. I think about it. I never wanted to be a lawyer. I never wanted to go the law route, ever. But there's a person on our case that got life. There's one person that got life, right? And again, like, loyalty is big to me, right? He's my friend. And I was like, well, we ain't got no money to get you out. I'm gonna go to law school to get you out, right? I'm gonna become a lawyer to get you out. When I got out, I felt like I couldn't necessarily say that because we had like a whole movement behind us, right? Now, if I'm just kind of telling everybody that I want to be a lawyer just to get my friend out, like, are people really gonna get behind that? So I kind of, created a whole story of like fighting the system, which I do believe that, right? Like, the system is rigged. Well, not rigged, but it's working exactly the way, W.B. Du Bois says a system cannot fail those it was never designed to protect, right? But once we got the money, I was like, well, I don't need to go to law school. I could just hire attorneys to get you out. So that's what I did, right? Like I just but while I was at Berkeley, we didn't get the money until I was at Berkeley. But while I was at Berkeley, what I was realizing was every semester there was Black students who weren't making it to the next semester, not because they weren't like academically inclined or intellectually inclined, but it was just not knowing how to navigate the system of the university. So it was then when I was like, oh, it's not law school. You need to transition to education. Because what I was seeing, especially with the UC system, is a lot of folks, was their first time having their own housing was when they was in school. Like the UC system got bread, right? Like I bought a car off scholarship money. You know what I mean? Like people was thinking it was the money through the check, and it wasn't the check, it was scholarships, right? That bought my first, well, not my first car, but a car. Housing, right? And then you're out the neighborhood, right? So like if I can get you on a college campus for 4 or 6 hours a day, whether it be the community college, I can get you off the block. You're around people who think different, see different, expand your way of knowing, doing. You know, you have an opportunity. I don't think college is the end all be all, but I also do think that is the only place where you could go make a mistake that it don't ruin your life. And you can learn from people that you wouldn't normally learn from, right? So I ended up creating programs to help kids from my neighborhood, Southeast, really kind of throughout California, to help them get into community college or straight to the university. So my big thing now, what I do now is I get kids to college. Like I send kids to college every year. I've been sending kids to college since 2020, I believe, and homies. You know what I mean? Like homies or homies' kids, you know, sending them on college tours, making sure they get scholarships, mentoring, financial, just whatever. Like I have cracked the code on how to get into college, how to get college paid for, like 0 loans. If you are Black in the state of California, your college is free. Like I know how to make that happen, right? Housing, whatever the case may be. So I felt like we were fighting against, like slavery was legal, right? Slavery, that was a law. Like that was legal. It was an immoral law. Like it was legal. It was illegal to smoke weed, but now it's legal. You know what I mean? Like, so to become a lawyer, I would be fighting the morality of a law. I didn't want to do that.
Right.
Well, okay, well, what can I do that can still have an impact that can help Black folks, Black and brown, but you know, predominantly Black folk, to kind of be able to change the trajectory of not only their lives, but their families' lives. And then in return, you can change the trajectory of your community.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, to even give you your flowers, CP, when you was talking, you always been determined though. You was a determined person, and also you figured out like, let me not go back to Southeast. Let me figure it out the way. And I seen you go to ATL and thug it out and climb, and then move to AZ, thug it out and climb and shit. So you've been climbing ever since. But your determination has got you where you at right now though. Your discipline to not come back here to that trap, and your determination got you where you at, which ain't easy.
I ain't gonna lie, man. It fucks me up. But one thing that fucked me up, it fucks me up to this day. And even, you know, sometimes, you know, I think where the three of us meet the closest is the loyalty that we have to people and people we care and we love about and what you'll do for them. And something I'll probably never speak about, never talk about, but Sam Van. You know, that's like, you know, that's family, right? I always think about how we low-key fell out behind some silly shit. And then I was out of state, but then we was good before he died and all that shit. You know, we was chopping it up. But like when he died, I always think about like, damn, had I not left, you know, because I'm like your right hand man. You know what I'm saying? We every 3-4 times a week we together.
Yeah.
how when the situation did what it did, but where would I be? Like, would it have been me instead of him? Or maybe we both be alive, but would we both be the niggas on the news? Cause I didn't dirty the nigga, you know what I'm saying, trying to get bro. Like, and I always, some parts of you feel guilty because you wasn't there. You know what I'm saying, to help somebody out, and your loyalty to somebody is like, damn, no matter what little shit y'all had, a little discrepancy about, I still would have did whatever for you. You know what I'm saying? And then
man, it's funny because I was just thinking about him yesterday. Seeing his little nephew get drafted, man, little Keontae Scott. Seeing him get drafted, like, damn. Damn, he just, man, he missed this. Like, which is crazy, man. Like, that was a big thing to see that kid get drafted. And damn, man, I wish you was here to see that.
Even his own son graduating, college and all that.
Yeah.
So I be following it, and it's just like, that's just the kind of like, it's just the world we live in, right? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I appreciate that. Like I said, I think, loyalty is where we all link up, where we all meet up at. And, like I said, I appreciate y'all even jumping on my platform, sharing y'all story. It's so many more things we're going to have to like link back up at a later time to discuss.
We can do this for weeks.
Right. There's so many stories that people don't even realize, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, when shit was fun, like the niggas that's coming up, they don't understand. They don't know the stories of little calling for baby.
It changed, man.
Still know the story. Low sleep at the store, calling for baby man at the went up to the thing. You call for your family, you do a little check, and you like, here, come to the front of the store. They don't know the stories and shit like that, right? They don't know when it was really going up, but low sleep going to the chicken shack and eating and call you on the phone like, this shit asking for the blood. You know what I'm saying? But fuck it up, right?
we was playing games.
They don't know how fun shit actually was and how funny shit was, and conversation and arguments.
Back then we didn't have the super video games online, so you had to be outside. You was outside.
Right.
You was outside. That was it. There was no sitting in the house playing the game online. Nah, you had to come outside.
But yeah, man, like I said, man, I won't hold y'all all night because we could do this all night. But I appreciate y'all jumping on the platform, sharing it, man, and even, having your vulnerable moment. Like, I get it, getting out, hair is all fucked up, and, go get a haircut, and like, now I'm free. I could do what I want. Like, they don't understand the struggle of 4 a.m. breakfast. If you go on the court, 3 a.m. breakfast, sitting in a holding tank from 3 a.m. to 7 o'clock, shackled up next to some stranger, just to go to court and sit in that court tank all day to fuck around to get in a rumble, or go to court and some white man telling you can't go home, you know what I'm saying? And the injustice behind it, like, I don't deserve this. But you getting lashes for everything that another motherfucker did that or came before you or whatever. We can't get them, so we're gonna try to railroad you. So, and like you said, getting home and then transitioning from Baby Struck to being Aaron Harvey, right? Like, I don't want to be known as this person no more. I want to be known as a father, a pillar in the community. I want to be known as someone who helped his people, not took away from his people, not the reason that somebody's mom and grandma is crying and there's a chalk line outside on the street. Like, I want to be known for something that's greater. And a lot of times these young cats, what's great to them is horrible, and that's just so sad that this is where we have to, it's the life that you grow up in, that, somebody else that already knows that this ain't no good, hurt people. And I think that's the common denominator. Hurt people, and G's, that know better, they'll still teach you they'll see you to hell anyway. You feel me?
Last thing I'll leave you with, you gotta, like right now, you gotta tell the kids in the community what you tell your kid, because you ain't finna tell your kids to go gang bang, go get in the car, go do them goofy. So don't tell nobody else kids that. That's how you, if we all push that way, we'll be all right.
For certain, man. Man, me and my son, we squaring off. Your dad, hey, listen, I might have to interview your dad soon. I might have to get him, and I seen the homie Magnificent, also known as Jay Bowser, also known as Magnificent in his younger days. He had a lot to do with y'all court date and for what he does to the community. He used to be like Coach Crip, right? And he had a lot to do with y'all case. I was reading up on that online. And then your father, you said, was a minister too, right? I might have to get both of them and talk about it, because your dad got a lot of interesting perspective, and I could see where he was going as a father who wanted you to live in truth and not and denounce what you was going through, because he really ultimately was trying to save your life. Me personally, I guess from what I believe in, I want an innocent bystander do what they're supposed to do. But if you are participating in this stuff with your friends, and this is who you say you are, I also want you to be a person of integrity and live with who you are. That's why I'll never agree with telling anybody anything. But I see how your father was trying to save your life ultimately, and I respect it, and I respect him for it. And he sounds like a stand-up dude, because the way y'all talk about him, I would love to meet him one day. But again, I appreciate y'all coming out, man.
He made, we talk about it now, right? Like, he didn't really understand what was going on in juvenile hall, or he didn't really understand, like, what we would call the school to prison pipeline now. He didn't really understand society.
Get them act right. You go in there and see what it's like. This ain't a place you want to be and change your life, but they don't realize time.
But it ain't that simple.
It's going to scare you away. It's going to scare you away, or it's going to make you worse. It's gonna, there's two things that happen when you go to jail and prison. Either niggas get scared, they get smarter, or they get worse. Those are the three, the latter, So everybody hopes you get smarter and you get scared.
Even like I ain't gonna lie to you, right? Like, I'm 7th grade, I'm 11 years old. My father is telling me to tell on the people who are actually protecting me, who come up to the school to pick me up to make sure nothing happened to me. What kind of sense does that make? Right. So let's say I tell on these people. This has nothing to do with gangs. This is logic. This is just practicality. This is reason. I tell on these people. Are you gonna move? Where are we going? So now there's people who want to fight me and jump me, but then people in my own community are protecting me, and I've told on them. Now I've harmed them too. Well, now where's the protection?
And that's a lot of what happened to us. And like I said, I guess the snitch culture now doesn't. They don't respect anything, and they don't think about that. And
you're harming people. You can't. You know what I mean? I want to show you something real quick. I want to share my screen because it's just something that you have said about, like, from Baby Shark to Aaron, right? Can y'all see this?
Yes, sir.
This picture? Right.
Yep.
So this is me and my brother on both sides, right? That's the street, Logan, right? Where we got our Berkeley hoodies on. Right? So anytime I go and I speak places, my background is that picture, right? Because how I view it is they're all the same person.
Right.
Like, ain't no I'm still all of those people, right? I'm just choosing now to represent my community and represent myself or my family in just a different direction. You know what I mean? Like, I can't reach a youngster or whatever, right? The fact that I'm even saying youngster is crazy, right? But like a younger dude, if I'm Aaron, he ain't hearing none of that. Right. If I pull up, I still pull up. There's certain times where I'll pull up, I'll see certain people or certain homies or whatever, I'll pull up and chop it up, because if we make these transitions and then we just disappear, then how are we helping the community? We can't. You can't. You're no longer here. People want to do different, but if they don't see different, then how can they do different?
I'm with
so
you.
Like,
even to the
I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir right now, but it's like, no, Snoop Dogg been made hundreds of millions of dollars representing Long Beach Crip.
And he's still Snoop Dogg. And that's why it was funny. One of my dogs, right? He don't get on the internet too much, but he a football player, right? He don't get on no more, right? But I be playing the game, and sometimes I might be working playing the game, and I forget to mute my mic. And he was like, "Why you tell these people?" He said, "Why you don't tell these people your name?" At work, I still have my coworkers and people I deal with call me CP. Everyone still calls me CP, and I'd be like, "It's because I went from here to there, but I'm still the same person. Just got smarter, just got wiser. Now I represent in a different way, and you can represent that way too. I give you my name, sure, but I just, old habits is hard to break. But I just feel like I was the young street punk. Now I'm this corporate dude. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, man, I ain't gonna hold y'all too much longer. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all popping out, and like I said, a lot of good insight. I think that the young people that's gonna be able to watch this and to see these clips that's gonna be clipped are gonna be able to appreciate a lot of that. And I think people even in our age group that want to do better and need some motivation, or maybe they need to hear this, I think that they'll learn a lot from a lot of things being said too, because they don't, either you can save your life from death, jail, prison, whatever, you know what I'm saying, or help you transition your life to doing something better, if your homies ain't inspired by seeing you and your big brother with the Berkeley hoodies, I was inspired looking at shit like that, right? Like, you can do this and you can do that. And like I said, I try to be an inspiration for my homies. I was the only nigga I knew had a passport out and about seeing the world. Like, I done been to so many countries, and it's like, I've been encouraging niggas, and now a lot more people have them. And, but I was outside 10 years ago, and even when I was out on bail, I was in Miami. I was doing shit at a younger age while my homies was locked up. So I've been trying to inspire niggas to do better things. But like I said, I appreciate y'all, man. We're gonna have to double back, and like I said, I'm gonna give a TD this week, if not tomorrow. And it ought to be interesting. It should be an interesting part 2 to this conversation, and him filling in his perspective of what all happened, and how things transition.
For sure, you already know, love.
Y'all brothers, man. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay safe, man. And we're gonna tap in.
You already know.
I'll let you.
Real nigga, die real nigga. Yeah, I squeeze triggers, big blood, banging in the club while I'm popping bub. Gang signs, checking gang signs. I'ma bang mine.